Hey everybody, just wanted to thank everybody for all of the tributes and all of the accolades and different things this week. It's been a pretty amazing week. I was telling Jordan this morning that last night I went to bed at 6 p.m. It was I was exhausted. It was overwhelming to say the least. Hey, I've got. I just wanted to thank everybody on video, but I also wanted to share with everyone. We were talking about this yesterday. Dr. Witters put together a video of the last 25 years, and we showed it during a medical staff meeting on Wednesday. And there's going to be a link on that on Monday, but that's an hour-long video. So if anybody wants to see that, that's fantastic. But there's a video from Dr. Witters, and then there was a video from Quint in there as well, and it was it was pretty amazing. So I just wanted to share it with everybody. And again, thank everybody. And anyway, have a great weekend, everybody. Thank you.
Long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, in the town of Sioux City, 1964, before Geico commercials could keep you from becoming your father. No, that's not Steve on the left, that's Steve on the right. Well, we got the skinny from his sister Michelle on above there, who said she taught him everything he knows. She's taking credit for it. Now, Steve wanted to be a teacher like his father, so he drove his Dodge Dart along Highway 30, but he couldn't turn left at U&I because his car, whenever it turned left, would stall. And so eventually he ended up at the University of Iowa because his car could turn right, and he got his master's in healthcare administration. Young Steve Simonon was stuck in Nebraska, and then in 1996, he applied to Community Memorial Hospital in Clarion for the CEO position. The board looked at Steve, this young single male, and thought to themselves, he'll probably stay 1 to 2 years, 3 at the most, and then he'll be gone. But they were impressed with his vision, his optimistic, and his energy, and felt that's what Community Memorial Hospital needed at the time. So he took the position, young Steve Simonon, in 1996, and he thought, well, his dream job instantly turned into a nightmare. The first day as CFO, came in, said, this was my last day. I gave notice 2 weeks ago. We actually don't have enough money to make payroll, and the employees are talking about joining a union. Well, Steve knew what to do with the employees. He immediately started a weekly newsletter to the employees, initially the Pinnacle, and he's continued to this day with the Insider, keeping the employees in touch with what administration is trying to do. Small hospitals in Iowa were closing. There was a new thing out called diagnostic-related groupings, where everyone would get paid the same based upon diagnosis. This was easy for big hospitals to do because they had the efficiency, but small hospitals getting paid the same amount as a big hospital without efficiencies were going broke. And in fact, hospitals were closing in Iowa. Medicare was planning on cuts, and in particular, this was going to hurt the small hospitals. Well, Steve worked with the Iowa Hospital Association committee to implement the Critical Access Program in Iowa. He was one of the first movers in this program, and he helped Clarion, Belmont, and Krimgar join the Critical Access Program in the year 2000, keeping them from going broke. Now, 25 years later, actually there are 82 critical access hospitals out of a total of 112, and has stopped having small hospitals closed because of this program that Steve helped implement. And he's changed, in fact, the face of healthcare in the state of Iowa. Later that year, Steve's mother was diagnosed with metastatic lung cancer. And in the process of caring for his mother, Steve made the transformation from a CEO administrator to a patient's advocate. And at this point, dedicated himself to making Community Memorial Hospital the best place for patients to receive care. That same year, Steve heard of a man named Quint Studer, and he was talking at the Iowa Hospital Association about making hospitals the best place for patients to receive care, the best place for providers to work, and the best place for employees to work at. Steve was impressed with him and took all the senior leaders to hear Quint talk at the Iowa Hospital Association. With that new philosophy, Steve changed the name from Community Memorial Hospital to Wright Medical Center. You can't see the print in here, But basically, there's a quote here by Steve, clear back in 2001, where he says, "Our goal is to be the best rural hospital in the United States." That's so typical of Steve, but very much his intent. And over the years, we have seen that come to fruition. In 2002, Steve says that he was fired. Well, actually, he wasn't fired. The physicians at Clarion were dissatisfied with the management by Unity Point and asked to join the Clarion Hospital. He agreed, and Trinity, of course, was unhappy with this decision and ended their contract management for the hospital for administration. The hospital then immediately hired Steve, so he wasn't really fired. But in the words of Steve Jobs, who was fired from Apple, the company he helped start, he was quoted in talking to the Harvard graduating class. Being fired was the best thing that ever happened to me because I could go and be creative again. And he actually started the company Pixar. Well, it's the same thing for Steve. Steve was now free to make Wright Medical Center the best hospital and not just a conduit for patients going to the larger hospitals. With his new vision, Steve started doing Press Ganey surveys. Well, they were dismal at the beginning. The ER had only at 20% patient satisfaction, and inpatient care was only at 50%. But he developed teams to help make the hospital the best quality, service, finance, growth, and people. The interesting thing about this is he made all teams equal so that finance was not dominant over quality or over people. And with this new philosophy, Steve started having awards for all of his. He initially was recognized by the American College of Healthcare Executives for being a young leader in healthcare and for the changes he'd made at Wright Medical Center. He was given a Firestarter Award from Quint Studer for his involvement in changing the way the pillars reflect the way the hospital operates. And in fact, Steve started the Rural Hospital Association within Quint Studer, and later Quint acknowledged that Steve's recommendations actually turned into 80% of his profits because of Steve's philosophy on making hospitals the best place for providers to provide care and employees to work and for patients to receive care. Entice the orthopedic physicians from Trinity Hospital to start doing their joint replacements in Clarion. It attracted a young physician like Dr. Gabrielson, who joined the family practice in providing top-notch obstetrical care, and a new general surgeon. These things all started developing new progress in Wright Medical Center, making it known for its great care. With all the new patients and surgeries being scheduled at Wright Medical Center, the hospital board decided that there needed more room, and so they built a whole new surgical wing at Wright Medical Center, and costing over $11 million at that time. Next year, Belmont Hospital joined Wright Medical Center because they saw all the good things that were happening and how medical care could be kept in the local community rather than shipped to the larger hospitals. The two hospitals competed fiercely over the patients in Wright County, while the big hospitals were taking the major cases. This was a great challenge for Steve, number one, to see if he could replicate in Belmont the success he'd had in Clarion. And it also stopped the competition that the two hospitals had against each other. This resulted in two major simultaneous investments, however. Belmont Medical Center needed to be updated, and so the Belmont board invested $18.7 million to rebuild their hospital. This, along with Wright Medical Center investing $11 million in their surgical suite, brought the total of commitment to about $30 million. But Steve had the philosophy, if you build it, they will come. And of course, with Steve's philosophy, he also had to have a new name. So the name was changed to Iowa. So in 2012, Steve changed the name to Iowa Specialty Hospitals. Yeah, we had some input too, but that's typical Steve. He likes to change things. So maybe another 10 years or so, if he's still here, we'll probably get a new name. But it really did reflect the whole change of the depth and the breadth of Iowa Specialty with his new philosophy of caring for patients and being the best. We've expanded. Specialists have come in. They started the bariatric program. They've had no more OB-GYNs, other subspecialists, the urologists, gastroenterologists. He's having clinics are being built. People want clinics in their cities, in Hampton and Garner, Webster City, Des Moines, Fort Dodge. Just the snowball is continuing that Steve has started with this philosophy of being, the best place for, providers to provide care, the best place for the employees, the best place for the patients to receive care. And it has now really totally changed the care in this part of Iowa. The hospitals working together started becoming well known throughout the United States. They've got award after award after award for their great care. But Steve loved to give the credit to the employees because they were the ones who actually made the system great. Iowa specialty hospitals became known nationally. They were written up in the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, the healthcare leaders. According to Prescaney and Associates, Iowa Specialty Hospital is the most awarded critical access hospital in the nation. Awards are too many to mention, but they continue year after year. Since the time Steve came in 1996, he had 130 employees. At this time, we have 694 employees. His first year working at Community Memorial Hospital, they generated $8 million. Of course, they made no profit and actually were in debt. Today, we're projected to have revenue of over $200 million this year. And hopefully we'll make a little bit of profit. Steve wears many hats. They say that a man of his talents and abilities needs to be humble. And so he puts a hat on. Sometimes he wears a happy hat. And sometimes he's wearing a casual hat. And sometimes his hats have to do with food. If you read his newsline, Steve always likes to talk about food, sometimes in one way or the other. And he likes to wear hats when he's serving other people because he's always cooking things up. Well, and then he also has many wigs. They say with all the stress of the years, he's starting to lose his hair a little bit. So he has to find fashionable things to dress up his head just a little bit. But he likes to have fun. And that's one of the best things about a good administrator, is bringing joy to the world. He finds that in singing. He loves to sing at church and at work, and he loves to have other people that join in. His awards banquets are some of the best. Always enjoying other people, always having people share the joys that come with the season, and he likes to be a leader in sharing that joy with other people. But most of all, at the awards blankets, he really loves to reward other people and give credit for all that they have done in following his vision of serving other people. He likes to be with the people. He likes to have people come to his parties at his house every year because it's relationships that are important to Steve. To Steve, life is a journey. It's not about the destination. It's about being with other people and having other people follow his dreams. The dream of making Belmont Medical Center and Wright Medical Center, now Iowa Specialty Hospitals, the best place for their employees to work, the best place for providers to provide good quality care, and the best place for the patients to receive care. I think about Steve and I remember this quote: "The success of a great leader is not based upon any one particular personality type or temperament. Rather, it is the ability to instill in others the desire to commit themselves to a common goal worthy of their service." Thank you, Steve, for inviting us to follow you and to be with you in this journey.
Steve, congratulations on 25 years. It's sort of fascinating because that meant we connected almost right when I was getting into my work. And one of the great blessings I've had is you. People who might not realize this, but you've not only made healthcare better in Iowa, you made healthcare better all over the world. Because I remember when you came to me at a session and said, "Quint, most of your stuff is really meant for large hospitals, and we're not as large. Can you provide services to smaller organizations?" And I said, well, you're a smaller organization. Why don't you give me some ideas on how to do that? And you did. So because of you, you've made really a miracle in Iowa happen. If you look at where you were 25 years ago as an organization, where you are today, it's really a miracle. It's almost like it's a wonderful life when you look back and see what you've done. You certainly deserve wings for what you've done in Angel Wings. So outside of Iowa, you've also had a huge impact on small and rural and safety net hospitals and specialty hospitals all over the United States. So I'm a lucky, lucky person. There's two things that I've learned over the years. One is people want to love, be able to love, and feel love. And Steve, I hope you know I love you, and I truly feel love from you and your organization. So that's what we'll agree on, I hope. But one thing we probably won't agree on is this. I have a spiritual advisor. He's passed away now, and he used to give me so much help. And every time he got done spending time with me, I would say, Norm, I want to thank you. And he said, Quint, the one thing you and I will never agree on is who should be thanking who. Steve, thank you for what you've done for Iowa, what you've done for healthcare, and I'm a better human being because of my relationship with you. I love you. Congratulations on 25 years.